Hello, CQ. CQ, hello, CQ, the old friends net. +5. Okay. This is W4MEC. Net control for this Sunday. The old friends net meets 3 times a week. Sundays at 4. Right now, 3715 frequency, give or take. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m., same frequency. The Old Friends Net is carried out in the amplitude modulation mode only, and while we encourage the use of vintage, restored, and operational vintage gear, we will accept anyone that can generate an AM signal to join us. It's also an old-fashioned round table style of net, where we will take check-ins a couple of times throughout the net and get everybody a spot to sit and transmit. And this is a great place to swap gear or look for bits and pieces or maybe some information you need to get something going. So, let's get started with the check-ins. For those wishing to participate, please give W4MEC a call and come now.
Good afternoon, Charlie. WA4LLR.
N4LQ.
November Echo Echo.
KZ4 Bravo. WB4NKL.
November 4 Alpha Kilo.
K1VVC. W1NZR.
WB4AQL.
I missed the last station that was up the band. One more time.
Whiskey 1, November, Zulu, Romeo. I'll zero beat in a minute.
WB4AQL. I'll try to get on frequency. WB4AQL.
Okay, I got a mishmash of stuff here. Let's see what we can sort out. Lots of doubles. Anxious folks here. This is what I got so far. Dave, WA4LLR. Steve, N4LQ. Mir, WF2U. Dennis, K8DEE. John, KZ4B. Cliff, WB4NKL. Glenn, N4AK. John, K1VVC. Jimmy, K4JAL. I think it was W1NZR. I'm not sure. He was down up the band. And I thought I heard Ron, WB4OQL at the last there. So let me stand by. And who did I miss? Come again.
K3OS.
November 4 Whiskey, Delta.
Hey Charlie, just a correction on the call. It's Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. Roger.
Oh yeah, I was going back in time there. Who was the station that doubled with Dennis?
He doubled again.
November 4 Whiskey, Delta.
Yeah, I got you, Bruce.
WB4AQL Alpha Quebec Lima.
Oh, it was AQL. Okay, I thought it was OQL. Ron. All right, one more time. Let's see who I missed this time. LLR, LQ, 2U, NEE, 4 Bravo, Gary, K3OS, we're going to put you behind John. Cliff, WB4NKL, AK, VVC, JAL, NZR, WD, and AQL. Who did I miss? No, nothing heard. One more time, because we got a mishmash here. This is the order, so make a note of who's ahead of you and who to turn it to. LLR, LQ, 2U, NEE, 4 Bravo, OS, NKL, AK, VVC, JAL, NZR, WD, and Yeah. All right, fellas. I thought I heard Buddy in there, but I'm not really sure. He was at the very front and doubling with Meir, I think, but he didn't come back, so maybe I was just hearing things. All right, it's 43 degrees, overcast, rainy here, not a nice day outside, but a great day to be inside on the radio. So let's get started with the group. Take it away, Dave. WA4LLR, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, fine business. W4MEC. And the old friends, WA4LLR. Good afternoon to everybody. Good copy so far on all. Good to hear this nice group turned out this afternoon. Same conditions here, Charlie. 43 degrees. We've had about a quarter inch of rain, and the clouds are right down against the house. So ceiling's about 3,000 feet. Running the Babcock MT5B, receiving on the HQ150, and a little help from the SB220 to a horizontal dipole at about 50 feet. So that's what's going on here today. So down to you, Steve, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR, N4LQ. The Babcock sounds beautiful, and probably the strongest signal here. And yeah, it's 40 degrees here and a very gloomy, gray-looking day. Running the AF67, LMAC driving the AL811H to about 200 watts carrier and the horizontal loop antenna. And I also thought I heard Buddy check in there and along with Meir at the same time. So I don't know. WF2U to take it, N4LQ.
Roger, N4LQ and the net. This is WF2U. Good afternoon, everybody. Pretty good signals to this afternoon. It's a little nasty outside. Breezy, not windy, just breezy, but that makes the 40 degrees and with the rain pretty unpleasant outside. And I'm running the Yaesu station, the FR101 Delta receiver, the FL101 transmitter into the FL2100B linear, putting out about 300 watt carrier. And the antenna is the usual 80 meter end-fed half wave at about 45 feet. So I'll give reports in the next round when I can write down some S-meter readings. So I guess it goes to, let's see, I don't know whether it goes first to KZ4B or to K8NEE, so whoever it goes to, please pick it up. This is WF2U.
I guess near Kilo 8, November, Echo, Echo. Let me check to make sure I'm not doubling. Yeah, okay, I got it. Hi, everybody. So far, Mir, you've been the softest. You're hitting me about 5 and 8, about a 5 and 8 here, up in the northwest corner of the state against the Tennessee line along 40, Fines Creek area to be specific. It's a little warmer up here, surprisingly, than you guys seem to be. We're showing 52, and it's wet and windy, but it's a great day to sit in the house and play radio, and I've been doing that most of the morning and throwing a few sticks in the stove as we go. Charlie, before I forget, thanks for calling the net. I always appreciate getting on with you guys. So far, everybody sounds really, really well. Steve, thank you for the note on the TX delay issue there on the 746 Pro. It finally dawned on me after spending about 2.5 hours trying to figure out what I was missing or couldn't see, because I can be very dense at times. And it finally dawned on me that rig just didn't have that circuitry. So anyway, that's the story there. Right now we're on the 7610 on the loop, running about 175 watts courtesy of the AL1500. Let's see, KZ4B from Kilo 8, November, Echo, Echo. Go ahead.
This is KZ4B. I didn't catch that call. I'm having trouble copying here. The S9 frying sound interference, and I'm having a tough time actually copying Charlie, whoever turned it over to me, and Mir. Dave and Steve are coming in quite strong, and we got in our rock today, but it was fairly miserable. Not raining here yet, but cold. But the good news is the wind wasn't blowing. Normally here the wind blows just about all the time, and that really turns the screws, so to speak. So I think it goes to Cliff, WB4NKL. If not, straighten it out, Charlie. KZ4B, over.
Goes to Gary.
I'll take it. Thank you. KZ4B, K3OS. I don't know what you guys are complaining about here in Hickory. It's I was telling Steve before the net, it's 65 degrees, shirt sleeve weather, the sun is out. A beautiful day. As it is everywhere else in the state. Afternoon, guys. Running the Gonset Twins, the 66 receiver and 77A transmitter here, just barefoot. My watt meter, believe it or not, is showing about 50 watts out today. So that's it. We got a big group. Let me pass it down to Cliff. WB4NKL, K3OS.
K3OS, WB4NKL. Well, good afternoon to everybody. I'm on the ART-13 again. And it's rained off and on here about all day. 51 degrees right now, a little warmer than some of the other reports. Looks like another band of rain's going to hit about 30 minutes or so, heading this way. So it's just drizzled all day, not hardly enough to measure, maybe a quarter inch or so. So maybe this next band will do some good. Big group, so I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Glenn. N4 AK WB4NKL.
Okay, WB4NKL. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo. Yeah, I'm kind of cheating today. I've got a heater set up near this a group of equipment here, so I'm in the TS2000 AL1500. I'm about 200 watts to G5 RV. Cliff, you're nice 20 over 9 with the ART-13, and Gary, you're about 10 over 9 with the Gonzits there, so it sounds very good. 47 degrees over here in Sunset, light rain, miserable as usual for a day like today. So I'll keep things moving on down. I have not seen any of the strange things that are flying over New Jersey, so I wonder if anybody else has spotted any lately. John, over to you. K1VVC and 4AK.
Yeah, very good. Thanks a lot. And K1VVC here, Glenn. And I've been up most of the night outside with my binoculars, but haven't had any luck spotting any of the drones. But they're coming to South Carolina, I'm sure. Anyhow, for a change, I decided to run a modern station. I'm not sure why, using the Yaesu FTDX 5000 and running it to my MLA 2500 amplifier, about 300 watts carrier output, and the antenna is a half-wave end-fed. So with that, to Jimmy, K4JAL, nice to hear you, K1VVC.
K1VVC, K4JAL, nice to hear you too, Stan. I'm running the ART-13 today and listening on a SDR console on a computer, talking out through, I guess I'm doing about 110 watts and carrier, and got an end-fed half-wave, I guess it is, or it's an end-fed. Enough of that. I really
perplexed by this whole phenomena of drones. You can't tell me with all the technology out there that someone hasn't identified those drones, and I'm really mad at our government because they don't think we are trustworthy to know what the heck is going on. I'm really angry. So there you go. I'm going to give it over to NZR. I don't know the prefix because you're not in my logs, but if you'd clarify your call, I'd appreciate it. K4JAL over to NZR.
Okay, very good. K4JAL. And the old friends in it, this is Whiskey 1, November, Zulu, Romeo. This is Brown, Bravo, Roger, Oscar, William, November, over here in greater South Suburban Red Oak, North Carolina. And I hope I'm close to frequency. This is the debut appearance of an ARC 38 that I've been massaging back into life. So I appreciate your patience with it. But glad to be here. It's been months since I've participated. I apologize. Charlie, thank you very much for net control duties. Much appreciated. And it's a pleasure to be back here. It's 53 degrees here in Red Oak, overcast, and yes, it's a fine day to play a little bit of radio. All signals are quite good. Dave, you're the channel master over here, but also John KZ4B is coming in quite nicely, as he usually does from the western part of the state. And I believe that I handed over to, I think it's KG4IUQ. I may be erroneous on that, Charlie. I apologize. There's a QSO going on, a few KCs either side of us, and so there's been a fair amount of heterodiming. But you and Dave and John, and good afternoon to you too, Brian, have eliminated it. So I hope I've guessed correctly. So Mark, if that's you, KG4IUQ next, please go ahead. Otherwise, I stand corrected. This is W1NZR.
Well, I didn't hear Mark check in, but I did hear WB4AQL check in, so take it away.
Almost a half half-inch of drizzle, overcast, drizzle. Running about 100 watts carrier into half-wave inverted L, infid half-wave inverted L. So copying pretty good. I just get the power company to quit sending their SCADA stuff with CW. I was talking to one of the engineers, and he didn't know they were still using it. So hopefully they'll find it and get rid of it. I'm getting tired of it. It only bothers me on 75 and 80, and it's because of the long wire, the infid. So I won't keep it long, give it back to W4MEC Charlie in 4WD.
Yeah, I kind of messed up there. I got it written down, but I skipped right over you. It goes to WB4AQL, and then back to me.
All right, thank you, Charlie. W4MEC. And the net, WB4AQL, Mike, near Chickamauga, Georgia. And copied everybody pretty well. Gary, a little bit light, but 100% copy, 50 watt. Johnson's doing a good job for you. Yeah, I was tuned up on 3725. It's been probably years since I've been on the old friends net. Let me touch this thing up a little bit here. Running a Johnson Viking 1, about 100 watts, and listening on a 75A2. Inverted V at about 35 feet. And good to be in here, 49 degrees, rainy, drizzly day. Good day for ham radio. Charlie, while I'm thinking about it, what was that fella we used to talk to in the morning on 75 meters? He was a musician. He's a silent key now. He's a musician, and he taught over at Wofford College. Super nice guy. I was trying to think of him the other day, and I couldn't remember his name or his call. A W4MEC, WB4AQL.
Okay, Mike, WB4AQL in the group, W4MEC. Let me check for any other check-ins. Any latecomers like to join us? Come now.
KJ4YEV, WB4ARK.
Okay, got Al and Buddy. Anybody else? Okay, Al, you'll be after Mike, WB4AQL next time, and then Buddy, you'll be after Al, and then turn it back to me. Go ahead and make a transmission. KJ4YEV, W4MEC.
W4MEC in the group, KJ4YEV. Well, we saw a couple of snow flurries flurrying around here a little bit ago. First I've seen this year. Of course, it's 43 degrees and there'll be no accumulation, but hope that's not a sign of things to come. Big groups, I won't keep it. I'll turn it over to Buddy. ARK, this is KJ4YEV, over to you. WB4ARK. Okay. This is WB4ARK. You know, you weren't hearing me, I don't think. It's possible, I guess you could have heard me, but I was tuned up on 160 meters, so I doubt if you were hearing me. Anyhow, it's been rainy here all day. It was drizzling this morning. There was no accumulation, actually, just a very light drizzle on and off all day. Pretty much overcast all day. The sun did try to come out a little bit about maybe, I don't know, 3 o'clock, something like that. And so that's been the highlight of our weather today. It's been in the 40s, I think it reached about 46 degrees today. And so that's the sum of it here. So we'll turn it back to Charlie. W4MEC, WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, very good. W4ARK and the old friends, W4MEC. Anybody else? Okie dokie, W4MEC and the old friends. Good round, good round. Okay, Mike, are you thinking of Uncle Dick, N4YVL? He's the only musician I know of that checked in on this net, and but I never can remember this guy. I can only remember what he said. He was a big guitar player, and he was the one. He had the famous where the moonshine comes over the mountain in jars. That fellow, and I had his call here, but I just can't remember it. So, but he was a big guitar player, and they would get together. I've seen them get together at Hamfest and just jam out. But maybe if it's not him, then it's got to be Dick, N4YVL. So anyway, let's see. Commenting here. Brown, well, I don't know about that audio. It's 100% readable, and it sounds like you, but it has a roughness to it. I don't know if it's overmodulating or you got too much mic, like D10 amplified D104 just hitting it too hard. You're 100% readable, but it just has a rough edge to it. And I tell you, Dave, that Babcock, I don't think there's a rig on this net that sounds as good as that thing, and that's putting it up against all the beautiful work that Buddy does. I don't think anything compares to the audio on that Babcock. It's hard to believe a pair of 6 AQ5s in push-pull does as much as it does, as well as it does in that thing. So, anywho. Well, I had a glorious 3 days here working on a car that I could get going so I could loan it to my daughter, whose car's transmission went out. And the first day I reconnoitered the job, which was to change the alternator, and had heart failure. I said, oh man, you got to be kidding. And the second day I called a mechanic buddy of mine who used to work for Ford. He now works for the Pepsi company in the in the shop there working on the trucks, the motor pool. And he called up the fella at Ford, and they said, here's a secret. So he told me the secret. But he wasn't 100% right. So day before yesterday, I started on it. And I got to the point where I was ready to pull the alternator, but ran out of daylight. And he said I needed to loosen the air conditioner compressor so that it would move around. Turned out I didn't need to do that. And I took out the odds and ends. I didn't have to drain the radiator. Some people said you got to drain the radiator, but eventually I got the darn thing out. And basically, from original start to the getting it out was like 2.5 days. And then I bought a new one for an obscenely $298 price, and that kind of was a shocker. And then I put it back in, and it took 45 minutes to put the whole car back together and get it working. So anyway, so that was my project, and I just got delivered, picked up my daughter, brought her home, and gave her the car, and she took off. So, anyway, $298 for a alternator, and that was cheap because MSRP is $450. And I asked the guy, why so much? I mean, the alternator in my truck is like $60. So the one on my 2002 Suburban is like 90. He says, well, with all the modern computers, it's a different world when it comes to the AC that the alternator puts out. So they got more diodes, they got more kinds of stuff in them now. So I said, okay, I'll buy that. So anyway, so be prepared if you have a modern alternator go out in a 2015 Ford Taurus. So WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All righty. Wow, $300 for an alternator. W4MEC and the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, I'm glad you got it going. Well, Charlie, thank you for the audio report on the little Babcock. I'm running an unamplified D104 with it, and I have to give Cliff all the credit on the audio because, it was designed for a carbon mic. And Cliff put a little solid-state preamp in there so that I could use a crystal mic or dynamic mic with it. And he is the one behind the audio, so I can't take any credit whatsoever for it. But I certainly appreciate the reports. Everybody is sounding great. I mean, all signals are strong. No problem whatsoever. Doesn't matter the power level. Glenn, good to hear you. I haven't heard you in a while. Glad you're on with us today, and the 2000 sounds really good. And the Gonzit twins are doing a great job. Let's see here. Good afternoon to you, Dennis, from there in Clyde. And Brown, the ARC, I believe you said an ARC 38. I'll have to look that up. But it's got a very strong signal up here. Like Charlie said, maybe slightly overdriven, but 100% copy and room filling audio. Mike, good to hear you, buddy. The Viking one's doing a good job. Bruce, good to hear you too. Everybody doing a super job. Well, it's been a chilly, wet, foggy, overcast day here, like most of you have. So it's a good day to stay in the house. And just a little accumulation of rain, not much. Not a whole lot going on here other than trying to help the local gas company get caught up, so we've been quite busy with the propane work. Space weather today is still pretty calm on the sun. Sunspot count is 86. Solar flux index is 172, and the K is 2, so good stable conditions. A few things from this day in history. On this day in 1939, the movie Gone with the Wind with Vivian Leigh Clark Gable premiered in Atlanta, Georgia. On this day in 2011, the Iraq War was officially ended. The United States declared their mission was over. On this day in 2001, the Leaning Tower Pizza reopened to the public after a 10-year work to stabilize it, to keep it from falling over. On this day in 1948, Alger Hiss was indicted of 2 charges of perjury for lying about his dealings with Whittaker Chambers. They never found him guilty of spying, so they found him guilty of perjury. On this day in 1892, American oil billionaire J. Paul Getty was born in Minnesota. On this day in 1890, Chief Sitting Bull was killed by a Native American policeman trying to arrest him in South Dakota. On this day in 1791, the Bill of Rights was adopted. And on this day in 37 AD, Roman Emperor Nero was born, who was famous for his extravagances and his debaucheries and persecution of Christians. So that's a few items from this day in history. So down to you, Steve. The AF-67's doing a great job. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ, Setting Bull. I'm going to have to look him up. I didn't realize that what was it, a chokehold that the sheriff put him in? Is that what it was? Anyway, let's see. Buddy, I really do believe I heard you right after me when I checked in. I was right after Dave, and then you often do come in after me, and I was expecting you, but I heard you double with Dennis. And I guess your harmonic is very efficient, so that's something to keep in mind, I guess. Anyway, well, let's see. I've been working on the radon, continuing project here, and I tried converting the system over to a fresh air input on the cold air return. So I just routed the radon pipe right directly into the cold air return on the furnace, and that goes outside. So I just disabled the fan and just let it suck air from outside. And the theory is it would pressurize the house and dilute the radon, but actually it got a lot worse. So I scrapped that plan. I'm putting the radon system back, but I'm digging deeper and wider the hole that the pipe goes in the concrete floor, and then I'm going to put in another suction point in another part of the basement to draw from, and maybe that will help. In the Department of New Appliances, I saw something that may be of interest in technology. A new washer-dryer combo. It's all one drum. You open the door, you throw your dirty clothes in, it washes them and then dries them, and then you take them out and you're all done. It seems to hold more of a load than singles do. Plus, it uses a heat pump, so there's no electric coils or gas burners. And the amount of power that it uses is minuscule. It runs on 110, and it doesn't have any vent or intake or exhaust or anything. It just spits the clothes out as they are, and I guess all the moisture goes down the drain. So it's pretty amazing what they've come up with. GE, LG, a bunch of them are selling these things now, and I had never seen one until I stumbled across it. Let's see, AQL mic. That Viking 1 has got penetrating audio. Your signal is not real super duper strong. It's plenty, but that Viking 1 is it doesn't have the lows, and that's just cutting through the mustard really, really well. And Brown, I would say it's probably the microphone on that ARC 38. I looked it up. I see a picture of it here. It looks like it's crystal control, and I see some kind of a big old mic hanging on it, so maybe that's the secret to it. I don't know. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this and turn it over to Mir, WF2U, in downtown Landrum. Well, not really downtown. This is N4LQ.
Yeah, Roger. N4LQ in the group, WF2U. Well, I'm not in town, especially not downtown. I'm actually in Greenville County. but anyway, it's just a post office that serves us. That's why the Landrum address. Anyway, what else? Nothing much, didn't do much with radios. I've been busy catching up with a lot of stuff from the last two months or so, over 2 months, including the last couple of weeks before the surgery, that my knees were pretty pretty bad, and tried to rest as much as I could at that time. But now I'm just at it with all my energy now. So especially Wednesday, I saw my orthopedist that did the surgery for the 2 months after surgery checkup, and he said I can do whatever I want. I have no limitations, so I'm good, and just resumed everything that I was doing before. So back to normal, and how to lift up some heavy bolt anchors and everything, and destroy some more joints. But hey, that's fun. Anyway, signals are pretty good, and let's see. The weakest station was WA4AQL, Mike at S8. Everybody else was, Glenn was S9. So everybody was, except for AQL, everybody was at least S8 and over. The strongest station was, let's see in my notes. Oh yeah, John, KZ4B, 20 over 9. So, let's see, Dennis, S9, Steve, 15 over 9, Dave, 10 over 9, and Charlie, you 5 over 9, and Brown, S8. Good to hear you too. So, conditions are not too bad. Anyway, let's give it to Dennis there, and K8 NEE. This is WF2U.
WF2U in the group from Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. Very good, Nir. You came up. You're a little bit stronger than you were initially. In terms of signal reports for everybody, everybody is hitting me between 10 and 15 over, with the exception of NZR and K3OS. Everybody sounds pretty good. And I got to send some flowers along with Charlie to the Babcock. That thing sounds like an FM broadcast station. I mean, it's just the most pleasant audio in the group, and probably, I want to say, the most pleasant audio I've heard for a long, long time, unless I'm on the repeater, so, which is rare. But anyway, very good job there. I know a few weeks back we were talking about Ron Bieber and his wife, WB4OQL. I happened to run into Ron at our club's Christmas party Thursday night past, and he was there and had some bad news for Marta. Marta is in the hospital, or she was, that they had put her in that day. So she's taking a downturn. I don't know what her situation is right now, but just mentioning that because several folks not only know these good people, but have inquired about them, and I wanted to just kind of give a little update. So thoughts and prayers are in order for Ron and Marta. Not a whole lot more to say. Over to KZ4B from Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. Take it away, John.
Okay, N4 Echo Echo, KZ4B here. Fine business. I'm copying you this go round. I couldn't hear a thing last time. I believe Dave mentioned the ham that talked about coming over the mountains with jars. That was Jim, K4EDK, who lived just outside of Cherryville, and he had the famous transmitter, the static eliminator. That was a pair of 833s modulated by a pair. It was a humongous military transmitter, and I was at his house one time, and he dialed it up and showed me 2,000 watts carrier. Now, I don't think 833s can do 2,000 watts carrier, but it still had a very stomping output. And he could play a mean guitar, and quite a character. And he was active for a long time, but of course he's a silent key now. And I was going to comment, Dave, your audio sounds great, and Steve, yours sounds great, and throwing in with that crowd, Brian, your ARC 38, I'm vaguely familiar with that. It's got a pair of 6146s, 24 volt filament 6146s in the file. It was an aircraft transceiver, and sounds good. You've got a real good signal here. And let's see what else. Yeah, conditions are definitely improving as we approach the evening. When it first started, I've got like I say, an S9 noise level here. It's usually more like S8, but today with the cold, clammy weather, it's really not raining here. Buddy mentioned that it rained there all day, and it's been overcast and very gloomy and cold as hell, but we haven't had a drop of rain. At least I went on a walk just before I got on the air here this evening, and it was still dry. And I'm not that far from Buddy, since he's downstream from me on Lake Wiley. And but it's not, and it's not a degree over 40 degrees here. But like I say, it was no wind, so it was tolerable. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to comment on here? If there is, I have forgotten it. So, I guess it's time to pass it on over to Gary. And Gary, I couldn't hear Charlie to start with, so I didn't know where it went to or where it came from. K3OS and the group KZ4B, over.
Hi, John. KZ4B, K3OS. Yeah, no problem. Yep. Been kind of misting here, by the way, this afternoon. Anyway, yeah, everybody's nice array of rigs. I was going to make one comment about the washer and dryer. I think Steve mentioned. You know, those combos have been available in Europe for a long time, and over here, like for RVs and stuff. But they've been very, very small, and I don't think they work in a technologically advanced scenario. I'll have to take a look at those. I wonder what the price tag of some of those things are, but it certainly does make sense. Would be really nice, wouldn't it, to cut everything down to a one box in your laundry room and avoid the 220 and the duct work and all that stuff. I will look into that. That would be funny. So let me not hold it. It's starting to get a little dark here. My favorite day of the year is December 21st. Then I can look forward to spring. Over to you, Cliff. WB4NKL, K3OS.
Okay, Gary, K3OS. It's WB4NKL. Let me come up a band just a little bit. ART 13's a drifting down. A good deal on the 21st. I always look forward to that because the days start getting longer. start seeing them lengthen out instead of shorten. Let's see, the wash machine. My cousin bought one of those, Steve, that was in the flood down here. She hadn't actually used it yet, but they had them on sale at Lowe's, and she was picking up some stuff. And she bought one, and she was telling me about it, and I got into that, looking about how it worked and everything, and pretty good deal. I mentioned it to the wife, but she said it's too slow for her. She she keeps the wash machine and the dryer going at the same time. She said if I had that, I'd have to, wait till everything completed a cycle and then start over. So she didn't think that would be a fast enough for her, but that would be a savings on the drying part of it anyway. And good deal. Thanks for the thanks on the Babcock day. It turned out better than I thought it would. You brought me the Babcock and the Heathkit power supply and left it with me, so glad it turned out as good as it did. I think I went through 2 or 3 variations on the modulation before I come up with the one that you're running. I even tried a carbon mic there at one time. But glad it turned out as well as it did. I'll send it on around. Go ahead, Glenn. N4AK, WB4NKL.
Okay, Glenn, WB4NKL in the group. November 4 Alpha Kilo. And I wonder if there's anybody in the group that are Tintec collectors. I have a Tintec R320 Delta. That was a little radio that hooked up to a computer, and it was very sensitive and it's very amazing. But I don't know if anybody collects Tintec stuff. So I got one in a box. Charlie, you bring back memories when we talked about N4YVL Dick Day. And if you remember correctly, we went to his funeral and they gave us a rock with his call on it. I still have my rock. And in reference to these drones, Jimmy, a little saying comes to mind about this in our current government. It looks like we live in a time where intelligent people are being silenced, so the uneducated people won't be offended. So I'll pass it on after that comment. Oh, K1VVC N4AK.
Very good, Glenn. N4AK, K1VVC. Well, it is kind of amazing, and certainly makes you wonder where the almost $900 billion that we give the Defense Department is, what that's being used for, if they can't tell us what the drones are. But when it finally comes out, people are going to be either very mad or upset, or who knows. So anyhow, I've been working on a couple of projects here. I've got 2 or 3 mid to late 1930s transmitters that I want to put on the air. One of them is a Stancor 100C. It's a cathode modulated transmitter that I've had here on the net in the past, but several years ago. But I'm thinking about trying to do a modulation scheme for what's called the Utah Junior, which is, it's like a 20-watt transmitter with it uses 6L6 in the output. It'd be nice to try and figure out some way to modulate that at CW only. Maybe in the week between Christmas and New Year's I'll spend some time doing that. Oh, Jimmy, let me turn it over to you. K4JAL from K1VVC.
K1VVC, K4JAL. Well, we'll find out about the drones one of these days when they think it's safe to let us know, or if whoever's doing it gets the upper hand. The thing I'm really interested in, though, they are going to reform daylight savings time, and I don't care where they put it, but I wish they'd quit jacking it around, because it takes me a month after they change it to get used to it. I'd be satisfied if they go back the way it was before. I think daylight savings time was the worst idea that Ben Franklin ever had. They attribute that to him. Anyway, enough out of me. I'm going to try to turn it over to, I think it's WN1NZR. I hope I got that right. I'm dyslexic. It's hard on me to get call signs right. K4JAL.
Okay, Jim. Very good. K4JAL. And the old friends net W1NZ are returning. And I hope I'm modulating a little less, more directly. I've been fooling with this thing, and I'm actually on a what I call a Broderick Crawford mic. It's a Shure 102 Charlie, right from 1952. Actually, it's within the year of this radio, although this radio was probably more accustomed to having a T17. So, but I've had fairly good results with this 102C that I picked up at a flea market probably 30 years ago for $2. And anyway, I hope it sounds a little bit better, and I do thank you for indulging me in my insanity. And yes, as we approach dark, things are improving. And John, yeah, I enjoyed your comment. Dave, you have wonderful audio. So do you, Steve. Well, Brown, not so much so, but oh well. Anyway, I'm enjoying the fun, and it's a pleasure to be back amongst you fellows. I'm not smart enough to be retired, so I'm still traveling for work, so that's why I'm not participating as much as I would like to. But again, I do thank you for allowing me to fire this machine up here and get on with you guys. So, all right, I'm going to keep it moving as well, and I believe I have it correct, and it goes to Mike, WB4AQL. Go ahead, Mike. This is W1NZR.
Goes to Bruce.
N4WD. I'm hearing everybody pretty good except for, let's see who was it. The one for me, NZR, WA1. Yeah, I copy, but like I say, my SCADA stuff on the power lines is right at that level. I'm going to say my 73's on this round, but I will be listening. So if you talk about me, I'll come back. Everyone have a blessed week coming up. Be safe. Remember the holidays, and those are less fortunate than we are. It's out here on AM radio having fun. So everyone take it easy. Stay dry. Keep your feet dry. Put on your duck feet, whichever. Y'all have a good one. And I think I got it right this time. It's going to Mike, WB4AQL, N4WD.
WB4AQL. Thank you, Bruce. Let me touch this thing up a little bit. Stand by, guys. The antenna gets wet, and things move around a little bit, and I'm still fiddling with this Viking 1 having been tuned up on 3725. I don't know why. I thought we were down there, but that's neither here nor there. You know, that might have been Jim. I can look back in the log and see, but it seemed like the fellow I'm thinking about, musician, played keyboards, had a beard, long beard, Vietnam veteran. I think at one time he told a story about living next to the fire station in a tool shed or something, and getting his mail over at the fire station. That might have been Jim. copying everybody pretty well. Some signals are up and down as it goes around, but that's the band changing. May get a little closer to 3715 too. And I appreciate the audio report, Steve, on the Viking 1. I guess that's pretty typical for a stock Viking 1, probably a stock Viking 2 as well. This one has not been modified. It's still quite original. But it's been a good one over the years. And once you get all these knobs adjusted, it kind of sits where you put it. I've been trying to get down here for the Old Friends Net for a few months. It was off the air for quite a while. And I had to find the VFO that I could configure to get down the band here. Crystal's up on 3880 and 85, but I didn't have a crystal to get down this low, but the VFO seems to be pretty steady. And Dave, I can always copy Dave. Dave and Glenn, over the years, I don't think I've ever failed to hear them. They're always loud over here in the northwest Georgia. Dave, I'm not familiar with the Badcock. I'll have to look that up. I don't know that transmitter at all. But man, it does sound good. So Cliff, kudos to you and Dave both for getting that thing cooking. Let's see. Glenn, I'm not a 10-tag collector. I've got an Omnia A and a Triton that I use on CW. Those are my CW rigs, but not collecting them. Somebody probably jump on that thing, particularly if it's still in the box. 73s, Bruce. And Charlie, I think Buddy's in here, WB4ARK. I'm going to try to turn it to him if that's incorrect. Charlie, straighten me out here. WB4ARK, WB4AQL.
And that goes to Al, KJ4YEB.
W4MEC in the group, KJ4YEV. Well, John, you are correct. That ham that used to always sign off with the line where the moon comes over the mountain in jars, that was Jim McCurry, K4EDK. He did not live too far from me, and I remember that big static eliminator transmitter he had. He's been a silent key for about 3 or 4 years now. I don't know whatever happened to that, but you're right, he was a very fine guitar player, and I play guitar too. He and I used to jam together occasionally when we'd get a chance, and he taught me some good licks and everything. So he was a fun guy to know. And Jimmy, you were asking about the drones. I haven't seen one either, but I've done made up my mind if I do, I'm going to go outside and drop my drawers and shoot them the moon and see what they think about that. So with that, I'm going to pass it on over to Buddy. WB4ARK, KJ4YEV.
KJ4YEV, WB4ARK. All right, yeah, I remember. I had that card from that guy that the ham that coined the phrase when the moon comes over the mountains in jars. Yeah, that was a good saying. Anyway, no, if you heard me call in early in the net, it definitely was not me, because I didn't hit the press to talk switch until after Jimmy called. So it couldn't have been me. Anyhow, well, I'm working on a transmitter here, so I've got some work still to do, and we've got our Christmas taken care of with our son that lives in Asheville and his wife. They came down yesterday, and they're going to Pennsylvania for Christmas, so they won't be here. So that was we got that out of the way.
and exchanged presents, and they were back off to Asheville. And so they didn't suffer any damage from the flooding, which is good. And so that's the story there. Looks like I'm down to 3715.035. Well, it's still dropping. It's been a long net, and I'm not going to hold it, so we're going to send it on back to Charlie, and I'd like to thank Charlie for calling the net today, and we'll look forward to Tuesday. W4MEC, this is WB4ARK.
Hey buddy, WB4ARK and the old friends W4MEC, you're real good. And it is time for, we can do a 73 round here if we can step through it real quick, and for those that are left, and then we'll shut her down officially. And Mike, everything you described was Dick Day, N4YVL. And he was a former Marine and attended the very last communications school that taught CW. And he was in the last class when they were still teaching code, and I forget what year, 60-something, and he did go to Vietnam. And his dad was an excellent skeet shooter, and he was an excellent skeet and trap shooter also. And he did live next to the fire station down there in Zirconia, so... but he had a house up on a hill there. You had to turn down this road right by the fire station to go up to his house. And in the wintertime, you can see his house from US 25 when all the trees have no leaves on them. So, but that is Uncle Dickie, yeah, for sure. And could tear up a keyboard tremendously, and would play around town, different venues, and people loved him. And anyway, we miss him. Let's see what else we got here, and we'll start the 73 round, and we'll be done. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All right, Charlie, fine business. And I still have Dick Day's BC610C. So I only met Dick one time at Shelby Hamfest. Nice guy. Let's see here. One comment I'll make on the drones. You know, if they won't tell us anything about them, I'm looking forward to some good old boy blowing one out of the sky, and then he'll probably get arrested, but at least somebody will have to declare ownership for it. So, anyway, Al, you moon them, and maybe one of us will shoot them. So one way or the other, maybe we'll find out the answer on the drones. Charlie, thanks for calling the net. 7-3. Everybody have a great rest of the weekend. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
Yeah. All right, this is N4LQ. Al, I don't recommend doing that. Those death rays from those things really hurt. You have quite a whelp on you. All right, the washing machine I was referring to they're all about $2,000, or right at $2,000, and it does, like I said, it does all washing and drying. But that was interesting. Comment about the keeping them both going, and my wife does the same thing. You know, moves them from one thing to another, and I can, well, I think I can sort of understand that theory. It all depends on how fast this new one is. If it runs twice as fast, then that would make up for lost time. Anyway, I'll say 73s from Shelby, and by the way, the news said somebody here spotted a drone, and somebody in Gastonia also spotted one. So I'm looking out the window here, and I don't see any. So there you go. And for the. I don't see any helicopters either. So that's the helicopter report from Shelby. 73s. Over to you, Marriott. WF2U N4LQ.
Roger, N4LQ in the net. This is WF2U. Yeah, okay, very good. Charlie, thanks for running the net, and of course everybody who was participating. Multitudes make more fun here on the net. So keep dry. We'll be here next week, and I don't think I make the 8 o'clock 160. Kind of get busy with all kinds of stuff in the house, so then I always forget to come out to the shack. So maybe I'll try to remember. So 73, all have a good afternoon and a good week. See you all next Sunday. And let's see. Oh yeah, Dennis is still here. No, wait a minute. Yeah, Dennis. KA Denny. And the net, this is WF2U 73 all, and have a good evening.
W2FU in the group, Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. Yeah, it's a good time to say 7-3s. Charlie, thanks again for calling the net. Mir, you kind of got ate up by the QSB monster there at the very end. I barely heard you come back. Started out strong and then sunk down into the noise there. Such is the nature of the beast. Glenn, I'm going to keep that quote about intelligent people keeping silent so that the dummies, so as not to offend the dummies. I absolutely love that. So I'm going to borrow that from time to time whenever the spirit moves me. Time for me to say 73 anyway. We got to unfortunately go to a funeral. Joanne's been kind of sticking her head in and out of the shack here, waiting for me to say 7-3. So it's that time. Y'all have a blessed week. And 7-3 again, Charlie. Thanks for calling the net. And over to John, KZ4B from Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. 7-3, guys.
Okay, Kilo 8 November Echo Echo. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business. Good copy that time. On the drones, it's my theory that based on the the Biden administration's record with the balloons that were flown by the Chinese, I think there's a for either them or the Iranians. And because if they were ours, why in the world would you keep it a secret? There's no reason. So they have to be ex-U.S. drones. Enough said. Thanks for calling the net. Charlie enjoyed it today. Great audio. And Dave, you sound good as always. And again, Brian, for a carbon mic transmitter, it sounds good, but mostly it's just a strong, well-modulated signal. And, you know, carbon mics sound like talking to somebody on the telephone, if it's a good one. So, it's time for Gary, K3OS and the group KZ4. Be clear by listening.
Okay, John, thank you very much. Wish everybody a real pleasant, or more pleasant evening, better day tomorrow. Over you, Cliff, WB4NKL, K3OS.
K3OS, it's WB4NKL. Okay, Gary. And the Gonsets are still sounding good up here. Good audio. Thanks for calling it, Charlie, and say 73s, and look for everybody there Tuesday. N4NK, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. And I'll pass along my 7-3s. It's been very enjoyable this afternoon. Easy copy on all the stations. So that's very nice. So hopefully everybody have a nice week, and Don't forget to get your Christmas shopping done before the last day at Walmart. K1VVC and 4AK.
I think John took off. Let's see, K4JAL.
Yeah, that's me. K4JAL here. Well, it's been a good round. Hope we solve this drone thing before they solve us. Enjoyed it today. Remember Jesus during Christmas, guys. That's what it's all about. I'll say 7-3 and over to W1Z NZR. I hope I got it right. K4JAL.
You did indeed, Jim. K4JAL, W1NZR returning. And saying best of 73 to all. Very Merry Christmas. Unfortunately, I won't be around for a couple of weeks. So I will communicate with all of you in the new year. Thank you very much, Charlie, for orchestrating this. It's not easy sometimes. And as for drones, any who show up on my property, there'll be a scattergun broken out. Won't tolerate that. So it goes down to Bruce, and I don't think I have his call correct. I think it's K4WB, but I am not sure. But I know it's Bruce, so I apologize for mixing it all up. But down to you, Bruce. I'm fairly certain you know who you are. This is Brown, W1NZR. Go ahead.
N4WD, you still with us? WB4AQL.
Yeah, I think Bruce has signed that 4MEC WB4AQL. That is the man, Dick. Dang, 10-4YBL. In fact, I looked back and found him in the logbook. Yeah, quite a guy. I never met him face to face. Talked to him on there a lot of times. Always enjoyed talking to him. Super nice guy. He had, at one time, he had a video on YouTube playing the keyboards and singing a song about a barbecue place there somewhere that he had written. I think he wrote the lyrics and the music. Oh me, I'll tell you what, that's one of the things that keeps me going at ham radio after, what now, 59 years, something like that. We've got quite an array of colorful characters that enjoy to know so many of them. 73s, everybody. Great to be in here. Been a long time. Appreciate you letting me be a part of the net. Charlie, excellent job running this thing, keeping it straight. I got all kind of scribbling on this pad here, trying to keep up. So I can only imagine what net control does, but you make it look easier. Y'all have a great rest of the weekend here, and we'll catch you a little bit later down the logbook. And I think I turn it to KJ4YEV. It's WB4AQL, 73's on.
WB4AKL in the net, KJ4YEV. It's been a great net as always. I really do enjoy checking into this net, hearing all these good AM signals. So I look forward to next week. You guys have a good week. 73 to all. Turning it over to Buddy, WB4ARK, KJ4YEV, over.
Buddy, still there? I guess not. This is W4MEC, the old friends. Thanks a lot, fellas. My only comment about drones is I bet you it turns out to be a online drone club that said, let's go launch them all at night and scare everybody and see what happens. So we'll see what turns out. Oh, and if you have to shoot him down in the silence, Whisper for $180, a 22 caliber pellet gun that is silenced and with a scope. So there, in those city neighborhoods, you can blast them out of the sky with that thing, and no one will know the difference. So we'll see y'all on Tuesday. It's W4MEC shutting down the old friends. Bye-bye.
Steve, N4LQ, are you still there?
Yeah, N4LQ still here.
I forgot to ask ask you a question on that heat pump powered dryer? Is the evaporator coil, the one that picks up the heat, is that built into the unit where it's actually cooling the inside of the house, or does it have to be on the outside of the house? Over.
My understanding, it's all self-contained. There's nothing outside of the box at all. Nothing comes in or goes out of the house, and it runs on 110. Just plug it into a regular AC outlet, and I think it probably takes about the same amount of time, maybe less. If you add the drying and washing time together, it's probably a little bit less time overall. Over.
Okay, Steve. Well, if that's the case, then in the wintertime, in the summertime, it's air conditioning your house. But in the wintertime, it's actually stealing from the heat in your laundry room, chilling it down. So I wonder if that's a perceptible negative. Or, it would seem to me with a heat pump, in a regular, like our house has a heat pump, and the heat that comes out is not that hot. And it's a lot of BTUs, but it's a huge volume of air changed a few degrees. And so when you're trying to dry clothes, looks like there would be a benefit. You don't want to burn them, but the hotter it is, you would think the quicker it could dry the clothes. Over.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, John. I'll try to find that. Well, I'd never get the link to you, but it's interesting to watch. He used AI to compute the operating cost of the old-fashioned units compared to this new unit, and it was night and day difference. And part of the cost of operating the old-fashioned way is the dryer is sucking air out of the house and blowing it outside, and it's blowing hot air outside, so it's causing the furnace to run more. But that does not happen with this thing, and it doesn't put out heat as far as I can tell. Now, it might put out a little bit, but I think the hot water goes down the drain, and it just somehow sucks the water out of the clothing. And anyway, I was talking to N4QR, and he was telling me about his granddad. They used to boil their shirts, and I said, "Come on now, you boil the shirts?" He said, "Oh yeah, they had a big pot, put it over the fire and get it boiling and throw the shirts in there." So that's the old-fashioned way of doing it. I looked it up, and sure enough, that goes back to medieval times, John.
Well, that sounds, if you're a coal miner, that's the only way you could get a shirt clean. But that's interesting. That's a point that I didn't think about, that, the conventional resistance heated dryer would waste a lot of interior heat, because it does have to steal the heat from the inside and blow it to the outside. So I hadn't thought about that. That makes them, the differential of wasted power would be considerably less. And it's obviously a cheaper way to do it, because moving heat's cheaper than trying to generate it from scratch. Very interesting. Well, thanks, and have a good week. And if I don't talk to you again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. KZ4, be clear.
Yeah, it's a matter of replacing X number of CFMs of air. Whatever that dryer is blowing outside of the house has to come back in through the cracks, and that thing computed $300 on typical electric bill increase to heat the house in the winter time, and $300 a year, per year. and that was in Texas somewhere. And then he did the same thing for Minneapolis and the opposite end of the scale. But it definitely would save money. And of course, a lot of hot water heaters now have a heat pump on top of them. That's the new way of doing that. I don't know about the longevity of it, though. I'll talk to you later. KZ4B, N4LQ.
Roger. And my neighbor has a hot water heater one, and the coil is on the outside, so it wouldn't be moving any heat from the inside to the outside. So that's a real savings with a hot water heater. And it's definitely got to be cheaper even on drying your clothes. As far as that goes, my big concern is how long would it take to do it. But anyway, interesting. See you later. KZ4B clear.